Hey everyone, today for my Selling on Etsy for Beginner tip, I just want to touch on something that probably is something that people expect and usually doesn't happen, and that's that your friends and family are not going to be your best customers in general. Now they might buy from you sometimes, but you can't expect them to buy from you just because they're your friends and family. And we'll get into some other complications with that in a minute, but just specifically don't expect them to be your customers. They might not have it in their budget. The things that you sell might not be to their taste. There's a million reasons, and people are not obligated to buy from people just because somebody that they know is selling something. Just think of all the Tupperware parties you've been invited to. I don't need any more Tupperware. I have plenty, and I can't find the lids for anything, but that's a different situation. All right, so just expect that your friends and family might be willing to share your listings. They might be able to share your links or your shop or that kind of thing. So post on your social media and say, look, I have a new listing in my shop, here it is. Now social media, depending on what platform it is, you're not supposed to use your personal accounts for business. So if you have a business account, you can do that. You can ask your friends and family to follow your business page on Facebook, for example, but don't be surprised if they don't. And again, don't expect them to be involved in your business. They might just not like your stuff, and that's fine. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean they don't like you. Your stuff is not you, and we need to get over that. The other thing I wanted to touch on, and this is kind of a bigger thing that people run into, is that you are definitely going to have someone in your life, maybe multiple people, who are not supportive of the fact that you have a business. Now, this could be for whatever reason. A lot of times when your parents, if you're younger or even if you're older and you say, I'm going to start this business, and your parents say, what are you doing? Are you sure? And that usually comes from a place of concern about your finances. As a parent, I understand that. But there are people who are just going to be negative no matter what you do. That's more about them than you, and don't let it bother you. So depending on what relationship you have with them, you can either just avoid them. Don't hang out with them if they're just negative all the time. Sometimes though, it's somebody like your spouse or your partner, and that's a little more difficult to navigate. And a lot of that is the kind of stuff that I talk about in my Turtle Wins the Race class, because this is the kind of stuff that comes up that you don't expect when you start a business. And a lot of this is what makes people quit the business, because they don't think this is going to come up, but it's a major part of running a business. So if you have a partner who is not supportive, that's a big problem. And my experience is that your partners, and this is my husband too, didn't really take my business seriously until I started making some money. And then as I saw the light bulb turn on in his head, I remember this specifically, I said, I made X amount last year. And he said, that's real money. And he was surprised. And I think when people realize that you are bringing home some real money, and it's not just hobby money that you're taking money out of the bank account and using it to spend on your hobby, and that's their perception of it, then they will give you a little bit more respect about it. But a lot of times the spouse is jealous that the business takes time away from them, or they feel like they have to do more work around the house because you're busy with other things. That's something that you have to navigate for yourself, but don't be surprised if those kinds of problems come up, and it's very common that they do, so just don't be surprised about that. But as far as people who you don't have to hang out with, if you have a cousin who's always giving you trouble because they're jealous that you have a business and they're making snarky little remarks, just either don't hang out with them or tell them to shut up. And I have done that to people in my family who thought that it was okay to mock my business, until I finally gave them a little tongue lashing and they've never said another word again. So you just have to handle it the way that you handle it, but don't be surprised if it happens. And don't expect people to buy from you just because you know them. Nobody is obligated to buy from you. And in general, friends and family are not going to be your customer base. Like I said, they might be, but don't expect it. And that's the first thing that you need to understand, is that people are not obligated to buy from you, especially your family. So just don't expect that, and you'll be better off. All right, watch this video next, and I will talk to you later.